In March 2025, Al-Shabaab tried to kill the president of Somalia, a remote detonated IED, inside Mogadishu, the capital, the city the government was supposed to control. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud survived, but the message was received. Within weeks, Al-Shabaab launched the largest coordinated offensive it had mounted in years. Across Middle Shabele, across Hira, town by town, district by district. By July, they had recaptured Sabid and Anole, just 40 kilometers from Mogadishu's gates. And they were not done. This is June 2026. Somalia's federal parliament has expired without a successor. Its president's term has run out without an election. And the group that was supposed to be a decade away from Mogadishu is, right now, closer to the capital than it has been since 2011. How did this happen? To answer that, you have to go back to 2022 because that year looked like a genuine turning point. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud declared total war on Al-Shabaab. The Somali National Army, backed by African Union forces and armed clan militias called the Makawizli, pushed into territory that had been under militant control for years. Town after town fell. Adan Yabal, Mahas, Mokokori. Some of those towns had not seen a government flag in over a decade. The world took notice. Analysts called it the most significant territorial gains against Al-Shabaab in 10 years. But territory is easy to take. Holding it is a different problem. The government set itself an ambitious timeline it could not meet. Troops were overstretched, logistics collapsed. The Makawizli militiamen, the clan fighters who had made the advance possible, began to feel abandoned. Al-Shabaab did not collapse. It adapted. It pulled back, reorganized, and waited. And then, in February 2025, it came back. The Shabelle offensive began quietly. Then it accelerated. Coordinated suicide car bombs hit government positions. Somali National Army units retreated. Ugandan African Union troops withdrew from key areas. Al-Shabaab moved into the spaces they left behind. By late 2025, every major town liberated with such fanfare in 2022 and 2023 was back under militant administration. Adan Yabal, Mokokori, Mahas, which had been under government control for over a decade, gone. The offensive did not just retake territory. It retook the communities that had risked everything to support the government advance. The people who had fed information to Somali forces. The clan elders who had publicly backed the Makawizli. They were now living under Al-Shabaab again. And Al-Shabaab has a long memory. By June 2026, the group is not just fighting. It is governing. In towns under its control, it collects taxes. It runs courts. It settles disputes. It controls road checkpoints on the arteries feeding Mogadishu, the Mogadishu-Afguye Road, the Mogadishu-Balkat Corridor, squeezing the capital's supply lines from the outside. Al-Shabaab's strategy is not a dramatic capture of Mogadishu. It is exhaustion, attrition, the slow strangling of a government's legitimacy from the edges inward. Here is the thing nobody in Mogadishu will say out loud. While Al-Shabaab was rebuilding its territorial machine in 2024 and 2025, the Somali government was not fighting it. It was fighting itself. In late 2024, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud sent hundreds of Turkish-trained Gorgor special forces, his best troops, south to Ras Kamboni, not to fight Al-Shabaab, to confront Jubaland, a semi-autonomous Somali region whose president, Ahmed Madobe, had just been re-elected in an election Mogadishu declared unconstitutional. Madobe had been an ally. They had issued arrest warrants for each other. Jubaland suspended all relations with the federal government. The country's best soldiers were positioned against a Somali regional president, while Al-Shabaab was regrouping 100 kilometers from the capital. Jubaland was not alone. Puntland, the semi-autonomous northeastern region, had already withdrawn recognition of the federal government in March 2024. Its president, Saeed Deni, declared Puntland would govern independently until a proper constitutional framework was agreed. By March 2026, Southwest State had joined them, withdrawing recognition as well. 3 of Somalia's federal member states simultaneously refused to recognize the government in Mogadishu. Together, Puntland, Jubaland, and Southwest State formed something called the Somali Future Council, a parallel political coalition, meeting not in Mogadishu but in Nairobi. Somalia's opposition was now governing from a foreign capital. At the center of all of this stands Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, a man whose story has become an uncomfortable mirror. In 2021, his predecessor, Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed, known as Farmajo, attempted to extend his presidential term by 2 years. It triggered street fighting in Mogadishu. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud was among the loudest voices condemning it. He called it a threat to democratic survival. In March 2026, Mohamud's own parliament, without opposition buy-in, without consensus, without the regional states that had already left the room, extended both the presidential and parliamentary terms from 4 to 5 years. Elections postponed until 2027. Critics were not subtle about the comparison. He had condemned Farmajo for exactly this. He was now doing exactly this. And this time, Al-Shabaab was 50 kilometers from Mogadishu's gates when he signed it. The constitutional crisis was not just political theater. Somalia's federal parliament completed its 4-year mandate in April 2026 without a transition plan. The president's term expired in May. In Mogadishu, government business continued with striking normality, as if the expiry of constitutional legitimacy was an administrative inconvenience rather than a structural emergency. The London School of Economics Africa blog noted the moment with cold precision. As of May 2026, Somalia had a parliament that had exceeded its mandate, a president governing without a valid term, and no agreed path forward. The Somali Future Council rejected the extension as illegal. The opposition walked out, and Al-Shabaab watched, patiently, from the checkpoints outside town. There is another threat that has barely reached the headlines in the West. In Puntland, the northeastern region that has already broken from the federal government, a cell of the Islamic State has spent a decade evolving from a splinter group into something analysts describe as an operational, logistical, and financial hub for the global IS network. With an influx of foreign fighters, IS Somalia is estimated to now command up to 1,500 fighters. Its emir, by some accounts, has ascended to leadership of the global IS network. Somalia has Al-Shabaab closing on Mogadishu from the south. It has an IS hub expanding in the north. And between those two threats, it has a government fighting its own regions rather than either of them. And somewhere in all of this is the person the cameras never find. A woman in Mogadishu who voted in 2022 because someone told her it would matter. A farmer in Middle Shabele who gave information to the Somali army in 2023 because he believed the government was winning. A teacher in Adan Yabal who watched government forces withdraw and now lives under Al-Shabaab administration for the second time. These are not statistics. These are the real casualties of the political choices being made in Mogadishu, Nairobi, and Addis Ababa. Somalia's collapse has never been a single dramatic moment. It is always a slow accumulation of betrayals, each small enough to seem manageable, each building on the last. Back to March 2025, back to the IED in Mogadishu that was supposed to kill the president. And Al-Shabaab is now 40 kilometers from Mogadishu. Somalia has survived worse than this. It has a resilience that outside observers consistently underestimate. But resilience is not the same as stability, and survival is not the same as progress. Right now, in June 2026, Somalia is not collapsing in a single dramatic moment. It is collapsing the way it always does. One political failure at a time, one betrayal at a time, one abandoned community at a time. The question is not whether Al-Shabaab can take Mogadishu. The question is whether Somalia's leaders can stop handing it the keys.